from my Karachi computer, they will get the notification that this computer has been dialed from Karachi. If my bank does not know where I am, or if I haven't set up that type of security level with my bank, they might be able to go in. But if my bank knows that I am in London and my account has been accessed same time from London and Karachi within the 24 hours, they will question it. So banks do have system. It depends on the level of sophistication they are using it to. Like, it's an example like Excel. Some people only use Excel to add their spreadsheet. It's very interesting. I've come across people who just use for adding up, for costing, and I've come across people who would design a whole program on Excel. So it's up to the bank and their own requirement how they do it, depending on which bank you are dealing with, what type of IT security. But most of the bank, as per my understanding, do have IT security department, and they do take care of this area very well. Otherwise, your bank accounts are not very safe, I would say. Compatibility with existing technology and infrastructure, data transfer, migration, hardware, software supplier, hacking, and other cybercrime. This slide is specifically came when I was in a meeting with somebody from one of the very renowned bank in Pakistan. And they mentioned to me that they have not found about 5 or 6 crores rupees. That's about 30 million, I think. Because they moved from one system to the other. The reason the migration of the system was not planned, the IT department, in most cases, they play that the people in the finance don't know anything. So we are the IT gurus, we do it by this way. The biggest challenge which we face is the conflict between the IT and between the finance department. So finance is saying, do it this way because this is regulatory and legally allowed. IT said, no, do it this way, this is the most sophisticated. We end up spending billions on IT systems that are not useful for us. So this is one of the area which we as financial accountants, financial controllers, all people in a position who are controlling the risk of a company need to address that there are risks associated, inherent in the implementation of IT. In fact, it should be from bottom to top rather than top to bottom. IT should not be driven by the IT managers, because these are the people from Mars who understand a different language. They understand. I don't understand the IT language. If somebody talks to me in IT language, I would say, okay, can you please translate? So the biggest problem what we face is IT department head leading the change. Without understanding, I'm sure they are more than capable of anybody else to lead the change for the system. But they do not have the sophistication and expertise in the consequences of the financial transaction due to the transfer and the change management. Of 2008, I think when RBS went down, the share value from about £10 to went to 2. They had a major restructuring in IT, and I was one of the consultants providing the support for the IT change control. So we had to break down all the transactions, all the accounts, everything, separate, move it from one system to the other. And it was controlled by a team of 25 accountants, financial consultants. Then there's the IT team. So there was major communication going on. We used to have meetings before the meeting just to decide what we're going to talk in the meeting. There's a lot of red tape involved as well. But what I'm trying to convey here, that we as the finance department, we as accountants, we as the guardian of the finances of the company, need to understand and need to get involved. Now there is another term which IT people use, that finance need to poke their nose in. They just want to go into everything. It is not true. We just want to know how it's going to impact the future cash flow of the company. You're investing billions of pounds, billions of dollars into your IT system and ending up like RBS, ending up like the bank, which I cannot mention for certain reasons, in Pakistan. And they're still finding out, digging out losses. They're still getting nowhere. They have a major leasing operation in Karachi as well, in Pakistan. They cannot find the lease of about 200 cars. The files are misplaced. They don't know. I mean, we do expect, operational losses. We do have a percentage of the loss, a degree of leniency that, okay, 2%, okay. But if that 2% happens every 2 days, it becomes a challenge. So we need to make sure that this compatibility between the existing system and technology. 2000, if anyone remembers, millennium bug, date change problem. That was one of the compatibility issues with the computer systems. Those who did not have that had a major problem. That's where we looked at it. Data transfer migration, I've just given you example. The way to control it is to provide planned and tested and controlled. So we have a data transaction, we take out 50 transactions, transfer it to the new system, check if it works or not. It should be controlled, it should be documented. It should be somewhere that tomorrow if I leave the company, or if I run over by a bus, or for example in Karachi, anything can happen. So you need to make sure that there is somebody else tomorrow to take your job and start without asking you anything if you're not there. That is operational management. Company, as a definition of a company, is a going concern. We all know very well. That going concern is not limited by the age or any factor of the employee, their condition, their illness. It should not be stopped. So we need to have written procedures in place to control those problems that could arise. If I'm not at my desk today and somebody comes up, it's very common. People say, well, he's not in today. Well, that's not the right answer. The right answer should be how we can resolve it. The right question should be, in a person who's been asked this question and replied that he's not here, they should ask the question that, is there any written procedure? Is there any controlled document that if the person does not return to the job for any reason, does somebody need to sit down for 3 weeks and relearn? Or should the person in the position already provide a written script and a document? So tomorrow you hire someone else as a trainee who can sit down with him and go through the procedure work, so, step by step, excuse me. We've discussed hacking and cybercrime. Hardware, software suppliers, a habit of entrepreneurs, company directors and investors. As an investor, I would say buy the cheapest one. We provide the information to the management. We need to highlight the fact that don't buy the cheap one, but make sure you're buying the right product in the market. You can go for any cheap product available in the market. What happens if the supplier go bust? Say, for example, tomorrow somebody else comes up and says, I'm company X and I'm providing you SAP system, 2,000 rupees. You would buy it, implement it. You have a data of about, thousands of people on your system. You have company data, invoices, inventory, everything. Next day, their company goes bust. 6 months down the line, your system cracks down, doesn't work. Who you go back to, SAP? No, they ask you to go back to the vendor you bought it from. They'll provide you the support, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. That's what we're trying to control, risk management. So we need to see how long our supplier for IT has been in the process. Do they have credibility? Are they new in the market? What are the chances they will go bust? Are they government backed? Are they influenced by politicians? I mean, this is especially in Pakistan environment in here, that what type of people have been hired by those companies. That's what we need to make sure and highlight in our report if we have and system implementation within our organization. We need to at least highlight, we need to provide information to the people, to the management. Technological business disruption and failure. Salomon Brothers suffered a substantial 303 million due to unreconciled balance sheet caused by the system changeover. New York Times, 92. National Bank made a loss of 20 million due to alleged cybercrime. Multan, Dawn, March 2008. System changeover and reconciliation losses. Several banks in Pakistan have suffered huge losses, which inadequate planning and control. I cannot name the banks, due to the reason that they have not been published. Otherwise, I'll be